Hello, this is Matt Pearlstein coming to you again about emotional intelligence. We call it EQ-101. And this segment is about emotionally intelligent communication, which is speaking and listening both, and speaking to yourself. So the outline for this one is just that. One is about how you express yourself and how you come across and what's your intention and what communications that you decide to come out of your mouth, because it's all a decision, right? And the second is about how do you listen, and that's a really strong part of that. It's a big part of this today is how to actively listen, how to empathetically listen, and the benefits of that. There are many, many benefits to those, and it is a skill. It is actually a skill. It's a learned skill, a learnable skill, and it can do wonders for your life, both in and out. So emotionally intelligent, try to say that 3 times. Emotionally intelligent communications. That's what I'm working on right now. And then another super important part of this whole thing is your self-talk, what goes on in your head, what happens inside of you, what you say to yourself, how you deal with yourself, how you all kind of stuff about you talking to you. Self-talk is hugely important. I mean, you're in your head all day, every day, and nobody else is in there, so you get to choose. And then we'll sum that up. So speaking of you getting to choose, step one of this whole thing, and I've said it every single session, this is the 8th session, I've said it every time, and I'm going to keep saying it every time, is emotional responsibility. And what that means is that my thoughts and my feelings, feelings, head, heart, are mine, and my actions. Thoughts, feelings, actions, the only things you really need to take control of. But it turns out those are the only three things that we need to take control of. So, and the good news is, and this is all very good news, and I'm coming across with that it's very good news to all of this, is that we are in charge. We are in charge. We're in charge of our own lives. We are in charge of what we feel. We're in charge of what we think. We're in charge of what we do. We are in charge of our attitude. We are in charge of our intentions. We are in charge of our goals. We are in charge of all kind of stuff. No matter what's happening outside of us, we get to choose what happens inside of us. We have control over that. All right? So if you don't believe that, we're in trouble. This is kind of the basis of the whole thing. And so I'm going to go on that premise that you are agreeing with me on this, that you're actually in charge of your own thoughts and your own feelings, not somebody else, you. So, me. So, what this one's saying says, inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or event to control your emotions, which means you don't be a victim, you don't be a whiner blamer, we are in charge, you're in charge. So other people can do whatever they're going to do, but you get to choose. So I said this already, the biggest EQ lesson, emotional responsibility. All my thoughts, all my feelings, not some of them, all of them. And especially all my behaviors, my actions, my words, my speaking, my movements, my energy, it's mine. So it's all up to me. And I can manage them, and that's very, very good news, because that gives me power and control over my life. It gives you power and control over your life. So try it. So, we don't learn a lot of this in school. I've said this a number of times before. So we're trying to, now that we understand how important this is, I mean, you're living with your thoughts and your feelings 24/7, every day, all day, every day. And we learn lots of education in our mind, thoughts, knowledge, understanding, the left brain. Our society is left brain focused, especially as far as education goes. And we learn lots of cool stuff about what's happening, so we can get a job and we can, do our thing. That's cool. That's good. We need to know left brain stuff, but we don't learn so much about our heart and our communications and our connection and our feelings and what's going on inside of us and all that stuff, all the rest of life. We don't learn so much about that in school, and sometimes it's not taught so well at home. Sometimes our parents are not a great role model. They try, but they maybe they're not such a great role model. So. We're having to unlearn stuff. We're having to make stuff up on our own. And some of this stuff we've been teaching this for 30 years now. And so as we understand some of it, I try to get it across to you and share it. So that's what I'm doing sitting here right now, doing exactly that. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Well, I think that's a little bit severe, but you get the point. It's a balance. In my opinion, it's a balance. We balance our thoughts and our feelings. We balance our knowledge, what we understand, that makes sense, what's logical, with what feels good, what we want, what our goals are, what matters to us. We balance all of that. It's if you can overdo the left brain and underdo the right brain, which is what most people do. You can also do the opposite. You can have too many feelings and they don't make any sense and it's no logic involved. That doesn't work well either. It's a balance thing, right? Balance. So the good news is, again, that all of this, your happiness, whether you're grumpy or whether you're happy is up to you. It's totally your choice. Happiness is basically a choice of yours. Every minute of every day for the rest of your life, every second actually, I can be grumpy or I can be happy. So when you are aware, when you can be educated, we can decide. It gives us choices, gives us freedom, so we can decide. So choices are a good thing. Choices are freedom. So, I said this already, EQ gives us power and control. No matter what's happening outside of us, I have power and control over what goes on inside of me. Sometimes, I had sickness and some people are in pain a lot, and there's even some stuff that happens inside of you that you don't have much control over, but how you deal with it, what you do with it, what you feel about it, what you think about it, all that you do have control over. So there's even some stuff inside of you that you don't have control over, but we do have control over our thoughts and our feelings and most of our actions. There's a couple of bodily functions that are not really up to us, and they're going to happen anyway, but most of them. So you get the idea. So 3 steps: awareness. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm having a feeling. Oh, I think this. Oh, I understand what's going on. Oh, I understand me. EQ is the study of me, you, understanding. Second, that's first, is awareness. Second is acceptance. Okay, yes, I feel that. Yes, I understand. Yes, I can accept, instead of, right, oh, I can't, oh my gosh, or oh, you idiot, or oh, any of that self-talk that's very harmful. We can accept, yes, I'm feeling that. What I'm going to do about it is a different story, but yes, I am feeling that. So acceptance is a big deal. Trying to deny it and trying to go around it is not helpful. Not helpful is a good way to put it. Actually, that's a good term. I didn't add this in here. But that's not helpful. When you're giving people feedback, you say, oh, that's helpful, or that's not helpful, right? So awareness, acceptance, and then action. And you can take action or not. You can decide, consciously decide to take action on what you're thinking and what you're feeling or not. Sometimes not is a good idea. But that gives us the power and control again, is understanding, awareness, acceptance, and action, or no action, but it's conscious, it's on me. So our thoughts determine our feelings. You'll look at, whenever you're feeling something, look at the thoughts that are behind it. Look at the thoughts that are creating that feeling. Look in there, they're in there. Your thoughts create your feelings, except for physical, sensations. You can make somebody hurt, you can make somebody feel something physically, but you can't really make somebody feel something emotionally without their permission, right? That's, again, it's our control. So, and if you dig back further, you can see that your thoughts actually came first, usually, and your thoughts determine your feelings. So if you don't like what you're feeling, check out the thoughts, and if you don't like those thoughts, change them. It You can do it. You're in charge, right? Remember? And then thoughts and feelings together determine our behaviors. We get to decide what to do. We get to make up our decisions based on what we think and what we feel. So okay, so let's talk about communications, shall we? I've been given feedback to pause every once in a while because I get all excited and I just go, and I have so much I want to tell you, but sometimes I have to breathe. So, in the communications, what I've found is that, and this is maybe you want to have a conversation with somebody, right? Well, in writing and communicating and doing a report or in doing getting something across to people, then a lot of times what the outline is helpful is say what you're going to say it, and then say what you just said, which is sum it up, conclusion, make sure that it got across. So sometimes if you're getting ready to have a conversation with somebody and it's important to you, sometimes we have what's called a pre-conversation, and that is it okay to talk to you? Do you have time? Is this a good time to talk to you? Is a good way to start it. This is important to me. Do you have some uninterrupted time that we can talk? That kind of thing. It's called a pre-conversation. And what I want from you, I want to express some stuff, maybe, or ask you a question that's really important. And I would like for you to, right, this is what I'm going to do. What I would like from you is that okay? For example, I would like some feedback. I would like some feedback on something, is that okay with you? I'm going to ask you a question, and I would like for you to feed it back. Sometimes, however, I'm fired up, and I have something to say, and it's bugging me, and I need to talk it through, and I don't really want you to give me advice, and I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen. So can you do that? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing is another very good conversation starter. Are you willing? Because that gives them power and control and gives them the ability to say yes or no, and you can negotiate, right? And then, by the way, the responses are yes, no, or yes, under these conditions. Yeah, I'm willing to hear you if you're not name calling me, if you're not putting me down, if you're not tearing me up. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you beating me up. But if you're not going to do any of those things, if you're going to respectfully tell me what you're feeling, yeah, I'll listen to you. So you can say yes under these conditions. Yes, no, yes under these conditions. So when you have an important conversation, you can say, are you willing to do this? Is this a good time? Okay, sit right down here, right? Yeah, if they say yes. And then say it, and then at the end, you can do one at a time. You could do a pencil thing where, I'm going to talk as long as I have this, and as soon as I'm done, I'm going to give it to you, and then I'm going to be quiet and listen to you. So to your response. So that makes it fair, and everybody's cool, right? Or I'll listen first, and then I get to talk, okay? And make it fair. And then at the end, you sum it up and make sure that everybody's cool and that your communication got across my intention was, and did that happen? So make it happen. So one of the keys to this whole thing, in my opinion, is to speak from I. If you're going to have power control over your life, you speak from I. And what that means is I mean, this is kind of funny, but a lot of people are saying nowadays that we're too self-centered and we're all about us and we don't know what's going on and that kind of thing. And that, I think that's partly true, but there's another way that you can tweak it a little bit where we're actually more, you're even more self-aware of what's going on inside of myself, and then and so much so that I can come across the way I want to, and I can get things across to you, and they're mine, but they're my feelings. So in that way, it's not self-centered, but it's self-aware, I guess. And so if you're speaking from I, what you're talking to people a lot of times is I feel, the conversation starters or sentence starters. I feel, I want, I need. Actually, watch out for I need, because most of the time you don't need that. That's something that you tell yourself. That's that self-talk thing. Oh, I need this to happen, or I need you to believe this, or I need you to da-da-da-da-da. Most of the time, you don't really need that. You want that. You may want it really, really badly, but you don't need it. So need puts you in a kind of a victim powerless thing when we try to watch out for those. So I want this, and I may want it really badly, but just be careful with I need. One good one to use, format to use is I feel, say someone put me down the other day and you're talking to them, right? And you're going, you know what, man? When you talk like that, I feel put down, I feel hurt, I feel you're not disrespected, right? I'm taking responsibility. When you put me down, right? You do this behavior because it makes me think I already am kind of conscious in the first place. When I was little, people put me down and it still hurts me and I'm still super sensitive to it. And I take that as as that you don't care about me, or that I don't matter to you. And you can say, I feel hurt when you say these things because and you go, so me, then your behavior, then back to me again, because I, blah, 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 and you give them some background on it. And it makes it easier for people to hear. You're not saying, you did this to me, you stop it, right? You're not doing it that way, because that's putting it on them, and it makes me powerless victim kind of thing. I'm saying, hey, I feel this way, and I would like you to change because it would help me, please. Right, from my point of view, and you can do it in a way that people can hear you if you say I. Another one is I think, of course. I feel, I want, I expect. That's a good one. That's a good one, because expectations sometimes are, someone told me the other day, expectations are prescription for disappointment. When our expectations are real high and things don't happen the way we expected them to happen, then I get all upset, or I get my feelings hurt, or we're back on I again. I am disappointed. My expectations were way up here, but what happened was way down here, and this, I got to deal with this in between there. And the key sometimes is to not have the expectations all that high in the first place, to have them be reasonable and to be, possible, and then to be able to adjust them a little bit. I don't think that's going to happen, so maybe I should adjust it just a little bit down, right? I want to be super close to you. It's not really happening, so okay, I will be okay with being friends with you, and we'll connect on a different level, not super close, but pretty close, and that kind of thing. We get to adjust our expectations, kind of you can drive it, and you can turn it down a little bit, you can turn it up too. Another one is I believe, which is kind of, I believe that that in a big way, kind of stuff that's happened to me as a child and has gone on through my whole life, I kind of have this belief system underneath, which is a thought, which definitely has feelings around it, but the belief system is that I don't fit in that well, or I have a hard time connecting with people. We moved a whole bunch as a kid, and now I've had to consciously learn how to connect with people and to keep it, because we moved so much that I would connect and then it was ripped away. Either they're moving or we were moving, and it was painful. So it got to the point where, I believed at the time, I decided about my life that I was a problem. People don't like me. People don't want to be around me. People, I'm yucko. And so that's a belief system, and with a bunch of feelings, you can imagine. But if I know those things about me and I can express those things about me, then we can have a much better conversation, be much cleaner. Because I have this belief system, maybe it would be helpful to me if you would adjust things a little bit differently. So I believe is another good one. The other one I said before about willing. I am willing to, or I am not willing to. Not willing is another good one. Boundaries are a wonderful thing. So Again, what the point here is about speaking from I. You're not saying you did this. You're not saying you gotta. You're not saying you suck. You're saying I feel, I think, I expected, I was disappointed, you're taking responsibility, and that's a big part of this whole thing. Taking full responsibility for who you are and what you need and what you want, and making it happen, being powerful. So it's a big deal. So, in doing that, the next step is about how you come across. Sometimes, well, not how you come across. What's the point? What's the purpose of your communication? Okay, if you find that you're talking to someone and you're just complaining up a storm, well, let me just say, there's complaining and there's venting. And they're slightly different, but they're a huge difference, right? They're a huge difference. Complaining is when your purpose is to, this happened to me and I feel bad about it, and don't you feel bad for me too? I'm feeling bad for me. Don't you feel bad for me too? And I'm telling you about it, and it's a yucky energy, and it's yucky feelings, and I'm kind of whiny about it, and I just really am unhappy, and this really just not fair, and they did it to me again, and you hear that in my voice, right? That's complaining. Usually, I feel worse afterward, and so do you, right? Both of us are like, when you're done, you're like, unless you might happen to agree with me, which makes, then we'll feel yucky together, which is kind of cool, but not really. But that's complaining, okay? Slightly different, again, and adjusted, I call it spin it to win it. So you adjust our intentions, what's going on inside. There's a thing called venting, which, if done properly, is kind of magical, actually. It's kind of magical. Venting is, I would like you to listen to me because I have these feelings inside of me, and I would like to get them out of me, not onto you, but out of me. Big difference, by the way. Please note that difference. I'm not angry, so I'm onto you. That's regurgitating. That's yucky. I don't need to give it to you, but I do need to get it out of me sometimes. Sometimes when the feelings are big, it's really helpful to get them out of me, to express them. And it doesn't have to be on you. I'm pointing like this because there's a chair right there, but so it's not on you. It's just out of me, so I can turn a little bit. But it's helpful for you to be there to listen, or to give me some feedback, or to give me a hug afterward, or to... Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, and that's okay too. That's fine. But know that that there's a big difference. So venting is about being emotionally responsible. Again, I have these feelings, and I want to get them out of me. I want to express them. That will help me to say them and out loud, and to get them out of me. Right. The purpose is to release them. It's not for you to be angry too. It's not to dump it on you. It's to just get them out of me, to release them. Right. We did the last 2 sessions ago was about how to deal with our feelings, and one of them was 4, 5, 6, and 7 are the 7 steps are release, replace, rejoice. Release, let it out. The negatives, replace it with positives, and rejoice a little and enjoy it. So that's really important. So in venting, you can get the feelings out of you. It feels powerful. They're my feelings. I can take them. I can find them. You find them in your body. Where do you feel angry? Where do you feel hurt? Where is that in your body? Well, like fear. I keep fear like in my belly and in my shoulders. Right? Anger is a lot of times in my hands and up here a little further. And sadness I keep way in my heart a lot of times. So it's in there. And when I want to get rid of some of those, release them a little bit, I could go in there and actually imagine releasing them for real. And it's called Neuro-Linguistic Programming, NLP, and it's incredible that you can imagine yourself releasing these things. You got to find them, accept them, and then you can move them. You can let go of them. You can drop them. You can have them you can explode them, you can turn them into snowflakes, whatever you want to do, but you get them out of you. Doesn't have to be on them, out of you. But The result of that is that if I am angry or I am sad or I am really fearful, that kind of thing, and I express that and vent it out of me, I feel way better afterward. You probably feel better by being there and being supportive of me, and we both feel better afterwards, not worse, like complaining. So it's a big deal. So one of the biggest communication skills is called listening with soul. I call it with soul, all right? And the soul is S-O-U-L, and the soul is, the S is shut up. Shut up first. To listen, shut up. Open up, right? Open up. You can be quiet and be standing there and somebody's talking, but you're not hearing a damn thing. You're not open. You're not receptive. You're not empathetic. You're just right? That kind of thing. So open up. So shut up, open up, and listen, right? We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? There's a reason for that. And the basis, some of the basis of EQ is empathy. I help manage a group on LinkedIn that has 100,000 people in it, and we did a survey, and massive numbers of them replied and said, what's the number one biggest thing about emotional intelligence? Empathy. Empathy. That means that you understand that there's other people, not just you, and that you can actually feel something toward them on purpose. And it's something nice. Usually, it's something polite and something you can dig it. You can understand that they're a human just like you. They have feelings just like you. Feelings are the international language of all people. We all pretty much feel the same stuff. It might be for different reasons, but we pretty much feel, sadness, anger, fear, depression, excitement, joy, love, all that stuff. All of us, all of us. And so whatever language you happen to speak doesn't really matter, because we're going to feel that stuff. And so we have that in common. And empathy is about understanding that other people do have feelings, not just me, and that I can dig it. I can connect with you. I can understand what's happening with you. It doesn't matter what the situation is. It's just like, oh, yeah, you're sad. I've been sad before, right? You're angry. Yeah, I've been angry before, right? That kind of thing. It builds compassion. It builds understanding. It builds acceptance. It builds cooperation. That's how this stuff works. So we're as humans, we like to connect. We like to connect a lot. So good thing to practice. So another issue is that consciously, when you're aware, consciously thinking positive or consciously thinking negative. I can find in you, this quote says, anyone can find the dirt in someone, be the one who finds the gold, right? Again, you're choosing happiness, you're choosing positivity. I call it purposeful positivity, another tricky one. But I can find good things in you, and I can find good things in me. If I look, I can find yucky stuff too, if I look, but it depends on where I want to look, right? A caring heart that listens is often more valuable than an intelligent mind that talks. You hear a lot of people talking and nothing's coming out, or there's nothing of substance there. They don't feel any better. They're just talking. And you're not connecting. They're just talking, or you're just talking. But if you care and you open up and you can listen and be there for people, it's a big deal. Attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. If you actually love somebody and you want to express your love for them, one of the best ways is shut up and listen to them. Let them talk. Let them be. Let them feel. Let them express. Let them be who they are, and you are there with them, and you're allowing, and you're letting them vent, letting them be, you're accepting them as a person who they are. It's a super loving thing, and then finding good in them anyway, no matter what comes out. A bunch of benefits to being a good listener: connection. If you listen, if if I listen to you, chances are you're going to like that. You're going to connect with it. It's a wonderful way to create relationships. You get information. A lot of times, if I'll shut up and listen to somebody, they will just tell me all kind of stuff. It's wild sometimes. I'm like, holy moly. But you get good information, and you get information about who they are and what matters to them. And that's a big deal, too, if you want to connect with somebody. So you get great information, understanding, acceptance, trust. If you listen to somebody, try it. Watch somebody, if they actually listen to you, you almost right away start trusting them more. It's kind of bizarre, but it actually happens. Respect, intimacy. You can be closer. You can talk about the weather and talk about whatever up here, or you can talk about what matters to you, what's real to you, and you can get an intimacy that's really difficult to handle and get anywhere else. Love. Love's a good thing. Laughter. Like I said, it can be the greatest gift. It's a total win-win a lot of times. You win, they win. It's a wonderful thing. So what's the purpose of your communication? Why, when someone's talking, you might ask yourself, why are they telling me this? Why do you think they're actually telling me this? Why is this coming out of your mouth right now? And why am I saying it? Why am I saying this? What do I want? Where do I want to go with this? What's my point? I use that a lot. What's your point? To myself, what is your point? Is it to vent and to release this stuff? If so, that you can encourage that, or is it to complain and feel sorry for? Is it to connect? Is it just sometimes we have a common enemy, we have a common problem. That's a cool way to connect. Sometimes it's negative, but sometimes it's a very powerful way to connect. Is we have something in common. It's to find commonality. That's another one I could add to this list. Sometimes you're just chatting to pass the time, talk about something, and nothing can be. Sometimes it's to get feedback or advice or their opinion or a solution. I'm having trouble with this and I don't know what to do about it. Do you have any ideas? Okay, and then shut up and listen to their ideas, that kind of thing. And you can say, yeah, or no, or maybe, maybe if I tweak it a little bit. But, they're given their point of view, you can take it or leave it, kind of. You can feed it back, you can dig deeper, you can watch out for judgments. What we're going for here is the feeling. What are you feeling versus what do you think? I had this opinion. I hate this, or I hate that word, hate. Go for watch out for the judgments and go for the feeling. How does that make you feel? What are you feeling about that? What do you want to do with that feeling? That kind of thing. There's different levels of respect, which it looks like I'm not going to have time to go through this time. But you can totally disrespect somebody. You can kind of respect them as long as I agree, or you can respect them like someone like one of your kids, where no matter what they say, they're not going to push you away because you're there with them. So know that there's different levels of respect. This was a picture that was at a huge statue at Burning Man. It's very cool. The people are turned away from each other, but the little kid inside are still connecting, going, hey, hi. All right, your big person issues makes you go away, but inside we're just lovable little things. So I've been doing a workshop with a fellow that's been helping me out, and it's called How to Be a Supportive Friend, and it's wonderful. Reflective listening. I'm going to skip these. These are my lists. This is me, EQ dude. And our goal is to teach 1 billion people how to do this so that A, they're happier, and B, can maybe change the world from the inside out. If we understand ourselves better, we can get along better, and we can be better humans and all that kind of stuff. So here's my contact information. I think that's it. So on that note, I will end with shut up and listen. Remember that. And when you're talking, what's your point? Why are you? What's your purpose? Not your why. What's your purpose? What are you trying to get across? What do you want from this other person? What's the point of your communication? So, see you next time. Good luck.